Welcome, nieces and nephews. Today, I'm making an old-time favorite. Matter of fact, you can still buy them in the store in the frozen section, but to be honest with you, the convenience of those ones is not as good as it is. We're making Salisbury steaks today. All you need to start with is a pound of ground beef, or more, depending on how many you need to make, but this will make 4 decently thick ones. If you use a burger press and weigh them out, you could even get more out of the bit, but they're really simple. 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, plain or seasoned, does not matter. 1/2 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 of a teaspoon of onion powder, good healthy amount of good healthy amount of pepper, and some salt. Go ahead and give this a good mix up. And you want to just go ahead and get that all mixed in. Doesn't take very long. Very similar to a meatball or a meatloaf. You mix in your bread, and this helps keep it together. No egg, although some recipes call for it. This one does not. You can still, if you can feel that it's gritty on the outside from the breadcrumbs, keep working it a little bit. I mean, some of it may still be that way, but you really don't want it feeling that way, because it just means that it just hasn't been worked in well enough. Okay, give that a second. I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and heat up our pan a little bit. Go ahead and turn it on to medium-high and put in a little bit of olive oil, or you can use vegetable oil if you want. I'm trying to not use soy-based products too much. You can even use corn oil. Peanut oil probably has a little too much fat, although it probably would taste pretty good for it. Go ahead and get it good and coated, at least a good portion of it. Now, I'm going to use the whole package of mushrooms in this when I go and put it in. You don't have to. You can even leave them out if you want, but mushroom gravy is kind of part of this. But I cook the mushrooms actually with the meat, so they get a little bit more cooked, because Auntie does not like them to be undercooked. But we want to get this nice and hot. In fact, I can go ahead and turn that up to a little bit higher for a few minutes, but we're not going to leave it up high. Cast iron, once it builds the heat, keeps the heat. While that's heating up, we'll go ahead and make our patties real fast. Since I know it's going to make 4, I just basically make 4 large portions. I'm not too picky about measuring them out. I know they're pretty close to even. Okay, now that I can see that it's starting to warm up, I'm going to turn it back down to where I'm going to want them to come up to anyways. This way I don't completely overheat it, considering I am using olive oil. Although olive oil can withstand heat. We just don't want to burn it. We will get the fat out of these, at least a portion of it. But we're going to put the mushrooms in with the meat while it cooks. So the mushroom is going to act like a sponge and soak up some of this. Is that as healthy? Probably not. Is it as flavorful? Yes. Turn it down just a little bit more, and I'll be back. And you want to try and avoid burning these, although at least the first few times you do this, don't be surprised. This is kind of a learning experience. Go ahead and just dump those in. I'm just going to go ahead and dump in the whole package. Might be a bit too much for some people. If you don't really want them, you can, like I said, you can actually omit them. It just won't be mushroom gravy, it'll just be brown gravy. Now, I have my 2 cups of hot water here, give or take a couple ounces, thanks to my coffee machine over there. Enough bullion for 2 cups of water. You can use beef broth if you want, but bullion is cheaper. Enough instant coffee for 1 cup, 6 ounces, as they put it on the thing. So 1 teaspoon. I'm using Folgers, just because that's what I have in for making coffee cakes and other things. And 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. At least most of it. Seems like you never get it all out of the thing. Go ahead and whisk it up. I'm going to go ahead and use this whisk, which seems like a little overkill for this, but I'm going to use this when I do this in the pan as well. So go ahead and set this off to the side. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull these out and put them into that bowl. I'm going to give these two another flip real quick, just while I'm doing this. Like I said, this side seems to cook a little bit faster, a little bit better. Well, we're not afraid of a little pink in our hamburger. We definitely don't want it raw. Give these a little bit of a toss. And I'm going to turn the pan down a little bit further. Remember, cast iron holds the heat. But you do not want it burning to the bottom. That's one thing you definitely do not want. Now you can go ahead and drain that out. Matter of fact, I'm going to drain a little bit of it out. Not a whole lot. Just a little bit. Now don't forget, if you find this video helpful or entertaining, go ahead and hit the like, please. Kind of helps me out there with YouTube. Give it a quick wipe on the outside right there to make sure I don't have it get onto the burner there and start a small fire or anything. And put that out of the way. Twist this up. As you can see, it's starting to thicken up real fast. Go ahead and turn it down a little bit more. Yes, they are hot. Now, there will be some grease and other water liquid that's from the mushrooms at the bottom here. If you are careful about how you scoop them out, you can avoid bringing too much of that over and back. So you can reduce the amount of actual oil and grease in here. We will come back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Probably only need about 10 today. And we'll serve it up. Or at least I'll put it aside for later in the dishes. I'm going to be putting it with some rice. The gravy goes great on the rice. So, see you in a few minutes. Okay, so it's now been about 10 minutes. So it's time to serve this up. And like I said, I'm doing this as a meal prep. So basically what I'm going to do is put them into a container that I'm going to serve up later. In this case, I'll be sending one of these with Auntie for her lunch. Yep. And yes, I do make a mess of the cooktop, but I do clean it up. Go ahead and just put a little bit of that gravy on top of the rice to go with it. This one will be mine, so I'm going to have a little bit more of the gravy and a little bit, or a lot more of the mushrooms. And there you have it. Salisbury steak, conveniently pre-made for tomorrow. Better than those ones that you'll get in the freezer section. Bon appetit, bon soirée.